Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton. I'm here on this podium with the leaders of public safety within the city and other support organizations that we work with closely from the state and the county, members of my city council, Councilman Michael Nowakowski, chair of our public safety subcommittee, who will say a few words in just a moment. Councilwoman Thelda Williams is here as well. Councilwoman Deborah Stark, Councilman Daniel Valenzuela. To my right, of course, is Sheriff Paul Pinzone, DPS Director Frank Milstead, our Chief, Phoenix PD, Jeri Williams, our Phoenix Fire Chief, Kara Cockbrenner, and of course Bill Montgomery, our Maricopa County Attorney. Tomorrow, Tuesday, will be a difficult and trying day for our city and for the law enforcement professionals whose job it is to keep everyone safe. I am fully confident that we have the right team in place to make that happen. And I want everyone to know that the city of Phoenix is taking all precautions to keep everyone, from people attending President Trump's campaign rally to those expressing their First Amendment rights outside the convention center and those conducting their normal business downtown, as safe as possible before, during, and after the event tomorrow night. We are expecting tens of thousands of people downtown tomorrow, but that is nothing new for us here in Phoenix. We have to be prepared for any and all occurrences, and we are. Our Phoenix Police Department, led by Chief Jeri Williams, our Phoenix Fire Department, led by Chief Kara Cockbrenner, have a tremendous amount of experience providing public safety for large-scale events, particularly in our downtown. And that also goes for the agencies that we are working in cooperation with in this effort, including Maricopa County Sheriff's Department, Department of Public Safety, and the County Attorney's Office, and also, of course, in this case, Secret Service and the National Guard as well. We have full confidence that because of tremendous professional leaders like Chief Williams, that tomorrow night is going to go successfully. And our region is blessed to have regional public safety cooperation that is second to none in the country, and our public safety professionals and leaders will describe that unique cooperation that we are blessed to have in the Phoenix metropolitan area. Our incident management team has been in effect and working together with our regional partners since last week. We are entirely focused with all the necessary resources and manpower to ensure that everything goes peacefully on Tuesday. For those who will be downtown tomorrow, there will be some traffic restrictions, but no major road closures. Major arteries like Washington, Jefferson, and Van Buren will remain open. However, beginning tomorrow afternoon near the convention center, Monroe Street will be closed from 2nd Street to 7th Street. 3rd Street will be closed from Washington Street to Van Buren, and 5th Street will be closed from Jefferson to Van Buren. We wanted to get that information out so that people working downtown can plan accordingly. If you are attending the event and need information on where to park or what items you can and cannot bring into the Phoenix Convention Center, please go to the Phoenix Convention Center website, which is phoenixconventioncenter.com. To those attending the rally and to those outside, we want to give you every opportunity to express your First Amendment rights, no matter what your opinion happens to be. However, as mayor of the city of Phoenix, I am expecting you to be civil, respectful, and peaceful. That is the Phoenix way. And tomorrow, we have a chance to show the entire world what Phoenix is all about. Phoenix has a strong working relationship with many of the organizations who plan to rally in protest of the president's visit. Past demonstrations have been positive and peaceful, and we expect nothing less tomorrow. People who come to voice their opinions outside should be able to do so without fear of violence, and those who come down to attend the president's campaign rally will be able to do so without fear of violence as well. Thank you so very much, and now I'd like to introduce to you, in my opinion, the best police chief in the United States of America, Chief Jeri Williams. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. It's always nice to get flattering comments from the leader of the organization, so sir, thank you very much. We're blessed, as the mayor said, to be able to have this type of partnership where there are direct phone calls that are going on between and amongst your law enforcement professionals in this region. I can't stand and do the job I do without the support of mayor and council. We also have the county attorney's office here with us, but frankly, to my fellow department heads all over this great city have really chipped in and pitched in to provide us whatever we needed as far as planning this incident goes. So what's great about us is we've had this cooperative effort time and time again, as the mayor mentioned, during Super Bowls and other planned events. So this isn't the first time that we've done this. We've been prepared for other presidential visits. We've had those before, and they've been managed and well managed, and I have no doubt whatsoever that this won't be anything different. The mayor mentioned in his remarks that we want this protest or we want this event to be peaceful, but there is a distinct difference between voicing your First Amendment rights and committing unlawful acts. As always, and we'll say it time and time again, you'll hear us say it time and time again, free speech will be supported because that's what we do. Criminal conduct will be immediately addressed. So my expectation of my officers is that we remain professional, decisive, and immediately responsive if the need arises. While some of you may be asking questions later about specific security plans, I won't go into those details because of security reasons, but I will assure you that we are well prepared. We will have maximum staffing during the visit. We've been working 24/7 since we found out that President Trump was visiting us in the area. As the mayor mentioned, we do expect a lot of activity downtown. If you remember back to the Final Four, we had thousands of folks downtown that we were able to manage, and this won't be any different. We're just asking our community members to be prepared, plan ahead, hydrate, be aware of weather activities, and we'll take care of any issues or challenges as they arise. The mayor mentioned the street closures. Most of those will be around the convention center area, so it shouldn't impact traffic too much. And in closing, I do want to say again, be aware of your surroundings if you're coming. And as always, if you see something, say something. So my partner in public safety, I'd like to bring up Fire Chief Kara Cockbrenner.
Thank you, Chief Williams. The City of Phoenix Fire Department is an all-hazards agency that is constantly in a ready state. We have a solid system built for our response to all large-scale events. We are strategic and proactive in our preparation for events such as President Trump's visit here tomorrow. We are working closely with all of our partners from other agencies to ensure a seamless operation. Be assured our regular response model will not be affected by the resources that are dedicated to tomorrow's activities. Our goal, as always, is to provide an outstanding, safe, timely, and response to the public's needs. We have a strong interoperability with the Phoenix Police and all of our multi-agency partners. We have many strengths and we capitalize upon them daily, including our ability to communicate with our law enforcement partners. These are just some of the things that have prepared us for such events for tomorrow. And next I'd like to introduce Phoenix Councilman Michael Nowakowski.
Thank you, Chief. Today is a fine example of that Team Phoenix approach, where law enforcement coming together to protect our city. We are asking all residents to be a part of this team by respecting people's freedom of speech. But we also are letting you all know that our top priority is making sure that our residents are protected. We are asking you all to obey the directions from our law enforcement if you are going to attend any of the events. While individuals are free to express their rights and to speech, understand that safety of our residents is our top priority. As a parent of 6 children, I ask parents out there to make sure you know where your children are tomorrow. And if they're attending any of the rallies, to make sure that they respect our police officers and obey them. And finally, as the chairperson of the Public Safety Subcommittee, I'm asking residents, if you see something, say something. Approach an officer if you happen to see something that's not right. Call 911, because you are the eyes and ears of our community. Thank you. With that, I'd like to introduce to you our County Attorney, Bill Montgomery.
Thank you, Councilman Nowakowski. And unlike a solar eclipse, these sorts of events in downtown Phoenix and the challenges that we face as a unified team happen on a much more frequent basis. While not actually, bear with me here, while not actually said by the French philosopher Voltaire, the following quote assesses what his contemporaries believe to be his attitude on free speech and is often cited to express the essence of our First Amendment protections of free speech, to include that phone call. I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. As one who has worn our nation's uniform in a time of war, I have a personal attachment to the full meaning and import of those words. As the Maricopa County Attorney and partner to city, county, and state law enforcement, I am also in the position of asserting that the limit of defending someone's right to express themselves, particularly with regard to political speech, is when violence is used to communicate a message. Let me be perfectly clear. I stand shoulder to shoulder with the City of Phoenix and the Phoenix Police Department, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, and the Department of Public Safety in carrying out our shared mission of public safety for the benefit of our community. If any group or individual resorts to violence against fellow citizens or assaults members of our law enforcement community or destroys any property, prosecutors will be ready to use all applicable laws to hold people accountable for their actions. It does not matter which group or creed you affiliate with. If you engage in violence, you will be subject to arrest and prosecution. And now I'll be followed by Department of Public Safety Director Frank Milstead.
Thanks, Counselor. So the Arizona Department of Public Safety's role in the next 48 hours events is we will have the Arizona Counterterrorism Center operational, monitoring activity. We will be a backstop for the activities of the Phoenix Police Department downtown, as well as some additional responsibilities in southern Arizona. But I would just say this, and most things have been said, but most importantly, Chief Williams and I, we were here during the 1070 protests. We watched hundreds of thousands of people walk down the streets of Phoenix and get their message across without violence, without hurting one another. And really, I think that's what Arizona is about, and I think that's what this community is about. Let your voice be heard, but respect the rights of everyone to have their voice heard, and refrain from violence. It's always been that way here. We've done it over and over again, and I think what the mayor said is right. We are a model for how you protest. We want everyone's voice to be heard. But as the county attorney said, if you step out of line and you become violent or harm others, you will be arrested and prosecuted. But really, we've done this before. This isn't a new day. It's just a different day. And in advance, I just thank everyone who comes down here for their cooperation and support to each other and to Arizona law enforcement. Thank you. Oh, sorry, I forgot you. I forgot the sheriff, Sheriff Paul Pinzone.
Not much left to be said other than, first of all, it is an honor to work with my colleagues in law enforcement and all those leaders that are here today. Tomorrow will be a defining day because of the opportunity that presents itself, not just for the law enforcement community and how we go about our business, not just for the city of Phoenix or the county of Maricopa County, but the state of Arizona and our nation. It truly is an opportunity for us to show what makes this nation great. And with that, I'm going to challenge everyone, not just my colleagues here, but those of you in the media as well as those at home, to be part of the solution, to be part of something where we are positive in our message, we respect the rights of others, but that we lead by example. And we set an example for our children and the next generation of what this nation stands for and why it's great. Peace is the only option tomorrow. Speak freely about your beliefs, respect others, and know that the men and women in uniform will be standing on the front lines to ensure that we protect your rights and your safety, and that the leaders that you see here today are committed to the best interest of the entire community. Thank you.
With that, we can try to take some questions. Obviously, for security reasons, some we may not answer, but if you all have questions for the panel, please, this is your opportunity.
Well, let me ask a generic question. Let's start off with the police chief. This can sound like a loaded question, but we all watched what happened in Charlottesville. Without getting into specific plans, how do you keep this from becoming that head-to-head confrontation that happened in Charlottesville?
So that's actually a great question, and one that I've been asked over and over again. And the fact of the matter is we've had the similar type of events happen in the city of Phoenix, and I'm very proud to say that this department has great working relationships and partnerships with a number of the organizations who will choose to exercise their First Amendment rights. And we actually have direct access and contact to whatever information they have directly from the source. So to loop back around to the question, we've done this before. This is not new for us. We've had these type of events where people are expressing their First Amendment rights, and we are well prepared. As I look over at the sheriff and the DPS colonel, we were in the trenches together. So we understand the need for communication. We have an exceptional joint regional partnership that I am certain we will maintain safety but still allow people their free speech. So I'm not going to go into detail about how we're going to do that, but that is the structure in place.
Okay. Are you planning on some buffer zone, not being specific, between the groups which did not exist in Charlotte?
So I guess I'll answer the question this way. So when you've seen other rallies, if you will, before, you've never seen that type of going together type of environment. We plan on creating the situation where people are allowed to exercise their First Amendment rights while still providing access and options for public safety to get in and to people if the need arises.
Did you recommend that businesses should close or release?
Yet another great question. So we haven't received any specific intelligence or information to dictate or say that businesses should close. So the answer to that question is no. However, if businesses decide to and choose to close, then that's fine. That's what the businesses are doing, but we haven't received any credible threats whatsoever to dictate that. Good question.
One organization that is encouraging people to show up on and with long rifles. How does that make your job that much more difficult since we do have an open carry state?
So the beauty of the First Amendment is the ability to exercise free speech. And also the fact that we're armed with the information that you just talked about, Donna. Armed with that information allows us to properly prepare and plan for what could happen. We are properly prepped and properly planned to be able to manage any situation or circumstance as the need arises. Yes, sir.
This is a question for the mayor. First, even at this late stage, in an ideal world, would you still like to see this rally cancelled? And did your thinking about that change because of Charlottesville? Was that a decisive moment?
So the statement I made when it was announced that the visit was going to come, the president was going to come to visit Phoenix, was that I did not feel it was the right time to do it. It was too close after Charlottesville. That was such a difficult situation, not only for the people in Charlottesville, but for all Americans. And so the campaign-style rally so shortly thereafter, I did not think was appropriate. Obviously, there was also talk about presidential pardons that I thought was particularly inappropriate to do so in an environment like a political rally. Again, the only information I have on that is what the president himself has indicated, that he was clearly thinking about that. I thought that any action like that would inflame passions and make the situation potentially more dangerous. And so I thought at the time, and I still do, that delay of we don't want to cancel the presidential visit overall, but a delay of the presidential visit was the appropriate request and would be the appropriate action by the White House. I'm under no illusions that the president will take my advice.
Did you actually write to the White House or call the White House with that specific request, Mr. Mayor?
I'm aware that, no, we put out a statement making it clear, and obviously folks at the White House did speak to media, indicated they had seen the request, and at that time were not planning on following the request.
Mayor, you said that tens of thousands of people are going to be downtown. Does that mean protesters or people out the rally? What were you?
You want to talk about this? I'll let you answer that.
So I'll go ahead and respond to that. It's a mixture of both. So a number of people who are going to be attending President Trump's speech at the convention center, coupled with the people who are choosing to exercise their First Amendment rights. So a good mix of both.
Do you have any intelligence on groups coming from out of state to this event, and if so, any from Benson, Virginia?
So no information and no threats or information leading to that. We've been monitoring social media sites. Director Milstead talked about it, the Counterterrorism Task Force. So we've been on board looking, listening, learning, and monitoring and tracking, but we don't have any of that information that we would be willing to share today.
Is the National Guard on standby just in case things get entirely out of control?
So the National Guard is one of our partners. To use the word standby, I don't know if I would articulate and use the word standby. They are one of our regional partners, and they've been in discussion and in working with us, so they will be around and available if that need arises.
Follow up to my previous question. So you mentioned active. When we had the mosque protest, armed and involving two very inflamed different groups of people, you got advice. You all got advice from active and the Joint Terrorism Task Force, the FBI, about what to expect. I guess what I'm asking you in my previous questions, have you received any similar advice like that from this event?
That would be no. How about one more question and then we're leaving?
Any restrictions or directives about carrying guns near the convention center?
No restrictions or directives other than what's been posted and previously utilized in the convention environment.
How many outside officers outside Phoenix Police do you expect to be involved in? What agencies?
So won't go into specifics about that. Suffice to say that the people who are represented here are the people that you see. With any regional approach, to be honest, I've reached out to all the other chiefs in the region too, just to share information, because as you all know, that people don't normally stay in one area, they do move around. So we've been sharing information with our different partners across this county.
Other than active, will there be any kind of an emergency response center set up somewhere?
Really good question, Donna. So we are going to activate our emergency operations center, much like we did for Super Bowl, much like we did for Final Four, much like we do on a normal and routine basis.
What are the street restrictions and closures ticketed, and then how are they different from past events, say, at the convention center?
So if you think back to Final Four, there were a lot of hard closures downtown just to try to corral the people, the 40,000 people that were downtown. Suffice to say that we're only going to keep the restrictions really around the convention center, so there'll still be free flow and access around the city. And I think the mayor mentioned Monroe Street, 3rd Street, 5th Street, Jefferson Street will all be places that are going to be contained just around the convention center. But again, no major road closures are we anticipating as a result of this event tomorrow.
What coordination are you having really quickly with the Secret Service and the President's own security detail?
What was the question again?
Coordination with Secret Service
Good.
and the President's own security detail.
So a really good question, too. You guys are coming up with good questions today. The Secret Service has been partnering with us since we found out about the President's visit, and they are one of our partners in this as well, so we're working very closely with them.
You mentioned, Chief, that this is going to be very similar to some of the other big events that we, as far as your guys' planning.
Yes.
Were the National Guard, part of the partnership on those?
So the military is always a part and ready in the event that we need them, so they have space in our emergency operations center, so yes.
Thank you. Some of your questions can be answered by going to phoenixconventioncenter.com. Julie Waters just got some information from the White House press office specific to the media. So if you have questions about parking, cabling, where to be, what will be allowed and not, Julie Waters will be sending something out in the next 20 to 30 minutes, I believe. But you can also check with the White House press office. Thank you.